Yo, what's going on, guys? This is the top 5 ways to fix abandoned carts on Shopify. Now, this is what most people do. They complain that there's not enough sales when they're fishing in their market. So the natural thing to decide is expand to more markets so you can catch more sales, right? That makes total sense. Well, this is the issue that most entrepreneurs that are in e-commerce run into, including myself, by the way. They start fishing in new markets, but the cost of expanding to new markets, i.e. your ad spend, is still not profitable. So the issue is not expanding to more markets. The issue is that you're not profitable, right? Without proper shopping cart recovery in place or avoiding abandoned carts, this is going to be a constant issue, right? You're going to be spending money and you're not going to be making sales. I know a lot of these e-com guys love to show the revenue numbers, but the fact is, a lot of these businesses just look like shit. And that might be yours, right? It certainly was mine at one point, because they're not focusing on the fundamentals within the business, and revenue does not equal profit, right? If you can just bump up the ad spend and make a load of sales, that's not what you're wanting. You're wanting to actually make profitable sales. So this is what shopping cart recovery and focus on this is going to do for you. And I found out this the hard way, right? I'm telling you this from somebody who's been there and made the mistakes. Unfortunately, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm trying to just help you understand what these mistakes are before you make them, or to fix the problem that you've got, right? So I would work 24/7, and what I would look for is ways to expand into new markets. I'd look at generating more sales by showing to more people, right? I would only focus on getting new customers, but I didn't realize that I had existing customers already on my website, already shopping, right? So these are the people that I should have focused on, and I wasn't focused on these. But when I implemented what I'm about to share with you in this video, that's when it all changed for me. This cost me time, cost me missed revenue, and it stopped me being able to scale that. This is the real issue, right? If you are not recovering the right amount of carts, your conversion rate is never going to be right. You're never going to be profitable with paid ads, and you're going to hit a point with your advertising spend where you're just not profitable anymore. So this is really the importance of it. I know there's a lot of random guys on YouTube telling you X, Y, and Z. You might be thinking, who the hell is this guy to talk? You might be the first time you're watching my videos. Well, look, I started my first e-commerce business. It wasn't actually e-commerce when I got into it. As you can see in this first photo, I actually started on market stalls. I was selling eggs. I was doing various other side hustles, collecting scrap metal, gritty hustles, man. I used to just do anything because, listen, I was broke. I left college. I was flat broke. I had no money. I wanted to start a business, so I had to do what I had to do. And I was really hustling at the beginning, but I ended up turning it into a business to where I was doing trade shows, in-person events, and I built out the e-commerce side of things alongside. And I really started to scale my e-commerce brand. Now, this gives me quite a unique perspective on e-commerce and just commerce in general, buying and selling to people, right? Because I was selling low value items in person to all ages, mostly older, right? I sold high value in person to different types of age groups, and I sold low and high value in e-com as well. So I really got to understand different levels of the market and the reason why people didn't purchase. And I was able to actually use some of the in-person stuff that I learned from my market days and from selling in person to actually using e-commerce. And this is what I found, right? Every time I sort of hit a number scaling point, so 10 grand, 50 grand, 98, I always met a bit of a barrier, right? And what I noticed is, when we really started to scale that paid ad spend, the barrier that I was hitting was the abandoned carts. This is the barrier, because I was trying to up my ad spend, but I couldn't be profitable with my ad spend. Something was blocking it, right? And when I figured this out, this is where it unlocked that scale for me. And this is just some stats you cannot ignore. Almost 70% of shoppers abandon their carts. Like, how much? Like, it is crazy. So many shoppers abandon their carts. And let's just do the maths on this, right? If your store's doing 100k a month, then you would have had 170k worth of customers active on your website already. And you might be seeing that and thinking, well, I'm not doing 100k a month. But even if you're doing 10k a month, right, and it's $700, that's still a lot. Percentage-wise, it's still a lot of potential cart recovery. Now look, you're not going to recover 100% of this. That's not what this video is about. But how about 10%? How about just recovering 10 more percent? What would that do for your business month on month? It's a lot. And shopping cart abandonment is rising year on year. If you look at this chart below, you can see year on year. I don't know what's happening in 2012, but that looks like it was crazy that year. But it's going higher and higher. Now, the reason for this is because people are using social media just for fun, right? You've got to think, if you're advertising on Instagram, when are people using Instagram? Well, they're using it to check the friends, look at stupid videos and they're in not a shopping mood, they're in just a relaxation mood. So a lot of people are window shoppers, right? This is the truth of it. A lot of people are window shoppers. Now, does it mean that you can't convert those people? Absolutely not. When you set some systems in place, you can convert those people. And there is a lot of people who are shopping, but they just haven't made a purchase there and then. People are more distracted than ever. Social media, they're shopping on the phones primarily. 81% of shoppers are all from the phone, some higher on some e-commerce websites. If someone's sat on their phone watching TV, they've got the TV going off, they're cooking something, they've got friends messaging them, notifications going off, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these things, they're getting distracted, right? This is a big part of it, they are getting distracted. So they might have actually purchased if they didn't get distracted. And the average shopper is more skeptical than ever. Just think, any teenager can go put up a Shopify website tonight and get it completed with products listed, dropshipping, and they might be selling a bullshit product. Might take 2 months to come. A lot of customers have been stung by these type of businesses, so they are naturally skeptical. And this is what you're trying to fight against, right? And some of the things I'm going to show you in this video is going to help you be not in that category. You're going to be able to be one of the highest performing e-commerce brands if you implement the things that I'm about to share. And plus, there's more options for shopping than ever. I mean, you know this yourself. There's stores for absolutely everything. So the only way to combat this is to act like one of the top players and have the proper systems set up and in place. This is truly one of the most important components within your full e-commerce business, your cart recovery. If this is not set up properly and you are not recovering carts successfully, you are not accounting for the vast majority of your sales. And this is a big issue that I hear of any e-commerce brands that I have talked to. When you start focusing on abandoned carts, this is the fastest way to generate sales because these are customers that are already on your website, they've already shown interest. This is the cheapest way to generate sales because most of this stuff I'm about to share doesn't cost anything. And the main driving factor items that I'm going to show you are very low cost in terms of comparing to ad spend. And this is going to allow you to scale advertising, which is most important. This is going to actually unlock you to be able to scale just like I did in my business. And these are the lowest hanging fruit in your business. Also, these are your hottest customers. Just think about a customer that's gone onto your website, they've seen your brand, they've seen your advertising, they've actually added a product into their cart and gone to checkout in some instances. The only customers that are more engaged than this are customers that have cash in their hand and they're looking to pay you right there and then. And that's the truth of it, but we don't have that because it's e-commerce, right? So these are the hottest customers. They've shown the most interest for the thing that you're selling. So going back to the first issue, right? This is what is going to unlock. So once you start recovering carts, you're going to see here, you're going to be catching more fish in the same markets. You're going to be catching more sales in your existing market. Now, when you can capture more sales in your existing market, you're now profitable with your advertising in that market. Then you can use the profits from your advertising in your existing market to either scale that market or expand into another market. And that's what's going to unlock for you. That is when I saw the most revenue increase in my business, when I started advertising in multiple markets. So let's start with the most important method to recover carts. This is a non-negotiable for any e-commerce business, and this is where you're going to see the most automated results month on month for your e-com business. And that is your email marketing. Setting up an abandoned checkout can increase sales up to 20%. 20% just from email marketing. It's fully automated, extremely low cost, and it's targeted marketing. Now, what I mean by targeted marketing, you're able to send a customer an email, a direct message that's automated that will trigger based on customer habits, customer behavior, right? So if a customer's abandoned a checkout, you can show them specific information to try and help them complete the checkout, right? Now, this doesn't account for an existing bad offer. If your product's bad, if the cost is bad, if customers are not liking your website, this is not going to fix that, and this will only work for existing traffic. So if you're at square one, this is not so important, but if you're seeing a little bit of revenue, this is when you need to start utilizing email marketing. Specifically, to utilize email marketing, the best way is you want to be using Klaviyo, hands down the best marketing platform for email. I've not seen any issues with it. You want to be building multiple emails in your flow. Now, if we're talking about recovering abandoned carts and abandoned checkouts, you want to be setting up an abandoned cart and an abandoned checkout flow. Now these flows are going to look the same, but they're going to be for different triggers. And you want to have about 5 flows in your emails. This is in the form of a simple reminder, a reminder with scarcity, maybe a reminder with discount money off with scarcity, and then another one for payment options. But send customers multiple emails. Now the reason you want to do this is because people get distracted. Some people are shopping on the phone, the doorbell goes off, the food's ready, someone's knocked on the door, whatever. They've just been distracted, right? And they might have actually purchased there and then if they didn't get distracted. So the good thing about email is you can send them a sequence of reminders over a few days just to push them over the edge. Incredibly powerful, incredibly cheap, super simple, super easy to set up. And if you display the correct information, i.e. shipping and returns information, that might be the only information that you need to actually push that customer over the edge, right? If you've got to think, some people just need that little bit of extra information or reminded on a different day, and they can actually complete the purchase just off that. Now with your email marketing, A to B testing is one of the most important variables to actually optimize your email marketing. So you want to make sure that you're A/B testing each variable until the conversions improve. Now, each variable means one variable of the email every time. So if you've got a call to action button, add to cart, complete order, you might want to change the text, run an A/B test. When you do this over time and you start seeing results from your A/B test, you're going to start seeing very optimized results. And this is something you want to be running all the time. But the golden rule of an A/B test is to test only one variable every time. But look, this can take time. Email marketing is not super quick. I mean, if you don't have email marketing set up and you are making some revenue and you set up basic flows, you will see results very quickly. But this can take time to optimize over time and you need the traffic to go through it. So what can we focus on that's going to give an even bigger impact that's quicker? Shipping. Now, this might sound super simple. You might think, well, Theo, I already offer free shipping. And well, I did at one point, but the problem is I didn't have the shipping information displayed properly on my website, right? And a lot of customers order based on shipping times and if you do free shipping or not. And look, you might already offer free shipping, but are you showing it already? Is it displayed properly? Is it on your web pages? Is it on your emails? This is something that you should be using because it's a major USP for your brand. Now, I'm not only talking about offering free shipping and letting them know that, but you want to be telling the customers, we offer free shipping in X amount of time. And it wants to be displayed everywhere. And look, if you need to raise your prices to offer free shipping, do it, raise the prices. And do not have a secret shipping cost at the back end of your website, because this is a massive way to kill conversions. And this is actually a massive reason why customers do not complete purchases, because they get surprised with this random cost. Just let them know the cost or put the cost onto the product price and then just offer free shipping and make sure you notify customers of that prior to the checkout, just so you're actually pushing them a little bit further along that customer journey. This is for customers that are already probably about to purchase, but how can you actually target those people who are maybe on the fence or maybe just window shoppers? Because that is still a big part of the market. For that, you want to build trust. Now, trust is going to be ever so important this year, more important than ever, and it's getting more important every time. Now, that's because people are just making websites at random. You don't know who's a business owner and who's actually going to be able to be trusted to send you the item that you're paying for. Customers are getting more mature and they're getting more skeptical. Now, people are shopping, but they're automatically looking for issues, even though they don't really register that. And your job is to fight this by using trust elements within your marketing, within your website, everywhere that you can. So how can we do this in an effective way to make customers feel more comfortable? Right, a perfect example to go over this, someone who does this at a very high level, is the brand Udi. You've probably heard of these guys. This is Davey Fogarty's brand. Absolutely massive boss in the e-commerce space. And if we just take a look at his site, we're going to see how he is actually gaining trust of customers. Now, the first thing I've noticed with this is they're offering actual people in the photos, the stock photos. This is going to build trust because this is going to take you away from those type of sellers that are just pulling pictures off the internet, generic stock photos that everybody's using, and they've actually taken the time to get a model in it, and it's showing people are actually involved in this brand, right? It's showing it's an actual business. This is only a little thing, but with a little bit of effort and getting your product shots taken properly, you can actually build a lot of trust by implementing human elements into your website. This doesn't necessarily have to be the stock photos. Maybe you want a little bit of founder information, a picture of yourself building your business, but you need a human element on the site because it's going to build trust, right? It's going to build trust. And again, look how they're displaying the information. So they've got free shipping, returns information, 4 million customers worldwide. They've got the testimonials up here, payment options, information about the product, and look, more human elements. And you can shop on this brand knowing that other people have shopped there before, customer reviews, and you know that you're going to get your product on time, you know when you're getting your product, you know you can get your money back if it's not good. And these are the trust elements that you want to be focusing on in building within your brand. And it's just going to take a little bit of effort, but it's going to go a long way. And this is actually going to stop people abandoning carts because they're not going to have that little issue in the back of the mind that is this even a legit brand in the first place? So it can be super strong to include this type of information, and you want to be focusing on other brands and industry leaders in order to decide what can you implement on your brand similar to how they do. Now, it's always important to enable your customers to pay how they like. Look, one of the most important factors in e-com is just making it as simple as possible for customers to buy. Now, one of the most simple ways to do this is just to add payment options onto your website. You can do this in less than a day. Some people only pay with PayPal, for example, or they only pay with Apple Pay, or they only pay with Klarna, right? You need to accommodate for as many of these people as you can. You're going to see your conversion rate go up when you do this. Because when people hit the checkout and they use that payment method that they use on a daily basis, that might be the difference between you making the sale or not. Because if they have to sign in and get the card and go in the other room for it, that's just the way that customers abandon carts. So a good way is just to offer more payment options and allow the customers to shop flexibly and just more comfortably on your site. And this is a super easy method to do. Now, the final one is testimonials, one of the strongest persuasion tactics that you can use in e-commerce. Now, the fact that testimonials are showing on your website is showing that other customers have shopped on your website before. The customer doesn't feel like they're taking the risk because you're showing that other people have already been on your site. This is going to demonstrate authority. It's going to allow customers to actually relate to the people that met them, who left them, and it's less risk for the customer shopping because they know that people are doing it already. And this is one of the strongest psychological principles that you can actually use in your e-commerce brand. And this is absolute essential. And with the proper use of testimonials, you are going to see sales increase. The best practices for testimonials is you want to use image testimonials. To get image testimonials, if you don't have them already, pick up the phone and call the customers off your Shopify dashboard. Call the customers who've made an order, ask them how their order was, ask them if there's any feedback that they have. If it's a positive experience, ask for an image testimonial. Say that you'll give them a certain percentage off. This can be done with a little bit of hard work. And you want to use these in your advertising as well. So if you get a good bank of image testimonials or video testimonials, you can use this in your advertising and it'll build trust even before the customers even clicked on your website because they can see other people using the product. You can add them to your webpage, add them to your emails. You want to basically have this information displayed tastefully in as many places as you can. And it allows the customers to scroll through them and they're able to trust the other people leaving them, not trust you. Because you've got to think, if you're telling the customer a benefit of a product, it's in the business's best interest to do so. But if they can read that off another shopper, that shopper doesn't have the best interest of the business in mind. So they trust it a lot more. Now, I learned about this psychological principle from The Psychology of Influence by Robert Cialdini. Excellent book if you're in e-commerce to read. And it shows the principles of persuasion. And watching other people do stuff first is a massive influence of persuasion. And you will see a lot of benefits from using that. So just a bit of low-hanging fruit there. Hope you can implement some of these and include them in your e-commerce site. So that is 5 methods that you can use to reduce your abandoned cart rate, increase your conversion rate, increase your sales, and make more money in e-commerce. Look, this video that's coming up right about here, this is going to be a perfect watch for after this one, so make sure you take a look. All the best till next time.